Okay, no, I'm not there yet. Hi, guys. There you go. Okay, welcome to Social Media Breakfast of Houston. I am so glad that you joined us today out in the world and here at Impact Hub Houston. I'm so glad you're here. We are so excited to have Jay Franco today to talk about chatbots. I don't know if you know, but like chatbots can actually double your productivity. They can absolutely cause you to have an 80% open rate. Let's talk about that a little bit today. And so I cannot wait to have Jay talk with us today. Jay, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me today. I love the community and I love you. So as soon as you invited me, I was like, yes, I'm there. I don't care if I have to come an hour down to downtown, but I will be there.
Well, you live like almost next door to me, so we're coming together.
That's very true. We could have carpooled over here.
We really could have. Maybe we should have done that, but that's another story.
Yeah.
I don't know. We didn't think about that.
Nope.
So tell me why. Well, first of all, tell us a little bit about your business and what you do. And then we'll talk about how you got into chatbots.
Amazing.
So let's do that.
I'm Jay Franco. I am the owner of Franco Innovative Media and Marketing Agency here in Houston, Texas. And I help specifically solopreneurs to help build and market a profitable online business using what I call the marketing engine. And that marketing engine is organic social media, Facebook ads, chatbots, and funnels. So that's what I do.
Excellent. Yes. And you're doing such a great job with it. So tell me a little bit about why and how you kind of got introduced to chatbots.
I have to say that I stumbled upon chatbots several years ago. And at the moment, I thought they were very clunky and they were very robotic. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not sure if that's, I don't think that's the future. And I thought about it and put it in the back of my head. And I was like, but you never know, because in social media, things always come up and you always have to keep your pulse on things that are coming up, because you never know when it actually ends up changing the landscape. And this was one of those things that I was like, okay, I'm going to keep up with, what's going on in the news and the media about chatbots. And it's something that really has changed and it's evolved and it's become way more human. And I'm obsessed with them now. Completely obsessed.
Yeah. And so you also went to I remember you talked about going to a conference or something. Tell me about that.
I attend the ManyChat conferences all the time. So that was one of the things that I think drew me in, is that I was looking at several chatbot providers and I was like, okay, well, there's Landbot and then there's Mobile Monkey and all these other things. And for some reason, chatbot seemed the most human.
ManyChat.
Yeah, ManyChat, sorry. Yes, ManyChat. ManyChat seemed the most human, and the company was very focused on creating human connection and human engagement. And I think that's kind of what wooed me into the whole ManyChat and like learning and becoming an agency partner with them and all that stuff.
Yeah, awesome. So let's just talk a little bit about how you can use them for small businesses specifically, but any business. But, I think a lot of small businesses might think, is this really for me? Do I need that? I'm not having that much traffic. Could you talk a little bit about why it's important for small businesses?
Yeah. So one of the things that I love to show clients is this example is, if someone goes and visits you and tries to start a conversation with you through the DM, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook, sometimes people kind of get stopped and they're like, well, what do I tell them? Or how do I pose my question? Or, what do I do? And so one of my favorite tools to use is called conversation starters. So when someone visits your profile and they go to DM you, it automatically pops up like 3 different options. Like, hey, do you want to book an appointment? Hey, have you checked out my new video? Or sign up for the newsletter, or any of those things. So it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're in real estate or you're in staging and interior design. It's a great way to get your people to immediately start engaging with you, because you're already giving them the option to say, oh, I want that. I want a quote. So let me just start with the quote. And so you're prompting people to get more active, where someone's like, I'll talk to them later. Maybe I'll DM later. And then you lose that opportunity to capture that audience. So that's one of the features that I love about chatbots, is that you're able to start instant connections faster.
I like that too, because a lot of times, I don't know about you, but I think, I don't want to talk to a person. I just want to ask a question and get it answered, right? So I think that's really powerful. Talk a little bit about, like, how expensive is this? Is this like a really pricey thing to do?
No, actually, I think one of my favorite things is that ManyChat has a free tier. and it's up to 1,000 contacts. So for those, especially solopreneurs, small business owners who are just starting out and they're like, well, I don't have a big following. I don't have a big subscriber list. Like I have it under 200 people. I don't think that I can afford these plans. Well, honestly, if you're not using something like this to scale your business, you're missing out on the opportunity to really start capturing your audience. And we all know that, the money's in the list. And so it's so important for you to take advantage of these tools that are available for you. So even if you surpass 1,000 subscribers, you can bump up to a $15 a month plan. So it's still very, very reasonable for you to continue to use these growth tools and really help you scale your business.
Right. And some of the things let's talk about some details about that. So you walk me through it. So I have an Instagram account. So how would you set something up on some of these Instagram accounts? So just from A to Z. So what would you do?
Definitely we'll start off with like one of my favorite things, and you've experienced it before, is those keyword chatbots, and I love them, or especially those mentions. So story mentions and keyword chatbots are like probably the first things that I'll implement. And story mentions are when you mention me in a story, you'll get immediately a message that say, hey, thank you so much for, yeah, you do. You sure do. Thank you so much for mentioning me in your story, or to the point where you customize the reply so that it sounds just like you. So a lot of times, I say dude or bro a lot. So in my copy, I'm like, hey bro, thanks so much for the mention. And it sounds like like I sent you a message. So people don't realize it. And that's one of the things that happened recently. I had a friend who, or potential client, was like, Jay, I really thought I was talking to you until I realized, I bet you she's using her chatbot for this. And sure enough, she went through the whole thing and she's like, was I really talking to you or not? And I'm like, no, you were talking about, yes, you were talking to me, because I wrote that script and I wrote the prompts and I created the whole conversation, so that I knew how to pull you into what I wanted you to do next. But it was my chatbot, but it was actually me. And so that's one of the things that I love to do. So definitely starting off with story mentions so that people feel special. Because how many of you guys have ever tagged a brand or commented on a brand, and it's been 30 days later and they're just now either liking your comment or replying, oh, thanks for the comment. And you're like, really? You're so disconnected. Like, come on now. And so it allows you to stay very present instantly. And there we go. I was like, I thought I was losing myself there a little bit.
Yeah, it just dropped out a minute. But I think you're good.
Yeah. So definitely story mentions, and then automating like the comments. I think that's one of the things that most business owners complain all the time when I tell them, you've got to answer your comments. You've got to engage back. And they're like, I don't have time for that. I'm like, don't worry, I got you. I got a chatbot for you that'll do it for you. And so that's one of the things I think that I've showed you before, that it comments back, and then it has a different variables of comments that'll comment back to whatever it is. Or I can choose a specific post for a specific chatbot, and it'll comment specifically on what the caption is or what it's talking about. So it's a great way for you to be present in front of your audience, because it's so important to be instant with your audience. We don't have a lot of time anymore to capture that attention span. So it's so important for you to capture them right there, because then they're going to go to your competitor. If you can't talk to them right then and there, they're going to move on.
Well, they're looking for a solution to their problem like immediately. Right? And I mean, I think we're all like that, right? We want to get our problem solved immediately, and then we'll just keep reaching out until we find somebody who solves the problem, right? Sometimes.
And unfortunately, that's the culture we live in. We want things now. We want things done fast. And if you can't solve it for me, I'm going to go next.
Yeah.
So swipe.
No, it totally makes sense. And it's hard. It's hard to do. So that being said, how long does this take to set up? I mean, is this something you have to be really technical to get?
You really don't have to be technical to get. You can actually get one of my workflows today. So if you visit the J Franco at THE Franco on Instagram and DM me the word SM BHOU.
So, and Franco is FRANCO.
Yes.
So, and J is just J.
Just the letter J.
Just the letter J, Franco.
Mm-hmm.
And then just, message her that thing. And you'll actually see how her chatbot works.
You'll play with the chatbot. You'll be able to experience it live. And not only that, but you'll also be able to get the workflow for the keywords. So let's say specifically you are looking to pull more people to your modeling studio, and you are doing a class on how to specifically walk or anything like that. So then you could do a post on Instagram that says, hey, if you text me the word catwalk, I can sign you up for for the next class where I'm sharing tips and helping you learn how to walk correctly. And the next model class is next Friday or whatever. And so as soon as someone texts you the word catwalk, it'll automate the workflow and it'll start to, hi, I'm so-and-so, and thank you for being here. I'm so glad that you're interested in my next class. To register, it's next Friday, blah, blah, blah. Can I have your name? And they type in their name. Okay, great. Can I have your last name now? Perfect. Okay, one more thing before I register you. I need your email. Type in your email. Then that email part, whatever provider you have, specifically, I always prefer MailerLite because it's so easy. There's an integration inside of ManyChat that'll that'll shoot it right into your subscribers into MailerLite. So when we talk about list building, it's incredible because the open rate, like people start getting really engaged. You pull them in with the chatbot and they start typing all of their information where, if you send them to a landing page and they read your copy,
they get lost.
and they're like, oh, or squirrel happens and they're like, hi. But chatbots are very engaging. And so you're able to capture more people to register for your classes, people to add to your subscriber list, to the point where, because of the pandemic, and we've talked about this right before we started, is that we've become a little bit lazy with getting places or getting out of our comfort zone, to the point where we're so used to ordering food. And so for restaurant owners, or if you have a food truck, it's so perfect because you can automate their whole entire order. You can add delivery to it. You can talk to them. If you have a e-com store, people can actually just go in the chat and in the DM and ask, hey, would you like information about your order? And if they click on that, you type in your order number, you find out what's going on with your order, if you need to refund or return anything. You can do so many things for all businesses in all industries. And
I know it's so
amazing.
I love how it's like so open. So even for like big companies, most big companies, their communication teams are small. You'd be shocked. They may have 1 or 2 or 3 people in their teams, and they have to do this too. So even big companies like really could use this. I think there's just a fear that it's not going to match
expensive.
up. Well, or that it's not going to match up, or that it's not going to.
They're clunky. Yeah. They don't sound like you. But I can promise you that, when I create flows, I always keep my client in mind, and I will ask my client, if you were to ask, how do you do this? Whatever question it is, can you tell me that question in the way you would ask that person if you were live? And so when they tell me, I literally write out exactly how they would say it. And so I want to make sure that it always sounds like them. So I always say, how would you say this? How would you say that? Because that way it sounds just like you, and you can totally fool people and they think they're talking to a person. Yes.
No, it's true. I think that's great. So let me see. I'm going to make sure I get all this stuff. So, so taking action. We were talking about customers taking action in the comments. So let's talk a little bit more about the comments.
Yeah.
You touched on that a minute ago, but that I think is one of the biggest pain points of social media is the comments and getting back. So tell us a little bit about how that works.
I can tell you that if you use growth tools inside of ManyChat, and growth tools is, it's one of those features that allows you to comment on any comment when you can do blanket replies, or you can do specific post replies. So if you have a specific post that you really want engagement, or that it's very specific, you can create a workflow just for that post, or you can apply a growth tool so that it always replies to every single comment. And so I have a growth tool, and I'm pretty sure some of you guys have experienced it. If you do follow me on Facebook, especially, if you comment, it'll send you a couple of emojis, and I have several different emojis that get kind of put in. What it does, it creates instant connection, and it allows me to start talking to that person right away. If I'm busy at the moment and I can't go back and reply to that comment, it's fantastic because it already created that engagement. It already made a connection with that person. So I can go back at the end of the day, go through the comments that I've received throughout the day, and start really commenting now, like personalized comments. And so it is really great to increase engagement. And not only that, but we're definitely seeing that the more comments we get and the more replies we get, it actually increases the impressions and the reach of that post
It's
organically.
an algorithm thing too. Yeah, that's absolutely true too. Because the algorithm is looking for interaction and connections.
Yes.
It is. So I mean, it's great that it does that. I have seen it where I do send you something and I get you have like a rotating number of things. So I don't get the same comment all the time, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So how does that work?
So it's super easy to set up. It's usually in the first step, and you just set up however many responses you want, up to about 5 responses, and it just alternates and it rotates depending on the post.
So it's not parroting all the time.
No.
I love that. So that being said, you have your chatbot set up. Which platforms does this work on? So
ManyChat specifically is a Meta partner. And so it's going to be available for Instagram and Facebook. And they're testing integrations into WhatsApp. So WhatsApp is also another one, but I use it primarily for Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
Just because I hate WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Like, can you just text me regularly?
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, I wish they do it on LinkedIn too. So
yeah,
that'd be great.
yeah.
But they don't.
Not yet.
Well, LinkedIn doesn't allow it. So yeah. I do think that this is like a really huge time saver though. And it makes you look like you have a big team whenever you don't, and I think that's really important for smaller businesses, but also for big businesses. I think that it's important too, if you're out there and listening and you have a, kind of a bigger company, you're busy, you're wearing all the hats. I know I've been on that side of it, on the corporate side, where you're doing 5 jobs and you're like, oh, how am I gonna get this? Maybe many of you came from corporate and you understand exactly what I'm saying. Everybody thinks that a corporation has all these resources, and they do, but they don't spend them on communication. They don't spend them on communication. So I think that that's really important to use it there too. So I'm going to start, do you guys have questions? Because I'm going to open it up to you in the audience too. Type your questions in. Tori, who's on the computer here, and also there's Tracy out there somewhere out online. They will grab your questions and bring them into the room. So make sure you are asking, because we want this to be as interactive as possible, just like a chatbot.
Yeah, but in real life.
Yes, but a real chatbot.
Yes,
real. So anybody thinking about using this for their business after hearing this? Yeah. So what do you think you're going to do with it?
I want to learn more about it. It's definitely something that I need, because people always asking for quotes. How much is this?
So quotes, so you can use it for quotes. Yeah, Brian?
Oh, sorry, I actually have a question.
Oh,
yes.
Do we, yeah. We have actually a mic so that the audience can hear us.
Yes.
And by the way, we also have a camera that the audience can see y'all, so they can see that there's actually, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm making you guys move around. I know.
Come up to the mic. Yeah.
Come up to the mic. Come up to the mic.
Hey. So with these chatbots, it just becomes another channel, though, for you to follow up on. Can you talk about the different platforms you've used in terms of which ones have the best workflow? Because I imagine that as someone inquires with your business, it needs to be put into some kind of CRM for follow-up, and you start gathering data. So of the platforms you've used, which ones have the best workflow that kind of helps you manage the inquiries that you're getting?
So we have a few clients that are using ManyChat, and obviously, the workflow is, it immediately goes into their subscriber list. If they're going into their CRM, you can actually use ManyChat inside to keep track of your leads, and you can continue to have conversations with them. And so I love that there's so many other tools within ManyChat to actually continue to generate those leads, cultivate those leads. As far as platforms that like maybe I zap into, I don't have.
Let me slow down. So Zapier is a connection
Yes.
tool that basically connects different apps
together.
Okay, and it's a free thing. You can have up to, there's a certain number of zaps, they call them, that you can have for free. And it connects, like, say, your CRM with ManyChat, for example. So sorry.
Yeah, and so like for me, like I have it set up to where it, if they specifically want an appointment, then in my chatbot, it goes to my appointment setting. But my appointment, if they want an appointment, it already goes into my CRM, because the links that I'm putting into my chatbot are for my CRM. So there's no need to connect things. It'll immediately show up in my CRM if that person's already a lead. So I don't have anything that we've connected for other clients, but we've done is do it that way. That way nothing gets broken and zaps don't stop working. So that's one of those things.
Are you saying mini chat or many chat?
Many.
Okay, got it.
Like
Many.
many, like MANYCHAT.
Many.
Many chat. I mean, that's the one we like the most. There's other ones out there, for sure. There's also ones that you can just put on your website that are little bubbles that are
Landbot
plugins
does
and
that.
stuff. So you can do some things like that. But the integrations on ManyChat are pretty good.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of integrations. You may have to go a little more pro if you're going to get more and more integrations and more things. But the data, I mean, they've been around for a while, so he's built a pretty good company.
He has, and he's no longer CEO.
I know.
I miss Mike.
Yeah, Mike is gone. I do have a podcast episode on communities on our podcast communities that
With
can
Mike.
Yeah.
Amazing.
With Mike. So I'll put it in.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the links on
Absolutely.
this. It's been a while, but we
And they're always upgrading their platform. Like just recently, there's limitations to how many times you can actually communicate with a lead. So you have about 48 hours, and then after that, you can't continue to have automations, right? And so right now, they've allowed, Meta has allowed automations to go past the time if you do one-time broadcast. So like, let's say right now, what's coming up, Black Friday. And if you have Black Friday sales, if you're an e-commerce store, or if you're a restaurant and have any of those type of sales, and holidays coming up, so you can blast by messenger a one-time broadcast on either a Black Friday sale, a holiday sale. So you can actually now continue to start those
they were very
conversations.
specific about the days.
You couldn't. Yeah.
But if you're having a conversation where somebody's asking you to come in, so there's some rules on the platforms. So that is maybe a risk, right? So like the changing of the rules of the platforms. Can you talk about that a bit?
It's opening now. So it's a good thing, because Meta is allowing us now to have more connections with our audience outside of those 48 hours, outside of the time that they limit us to have a workflow in place. So if you set a workflow in place and the person doesn't interact with the bot after X amount of hours, it expires. And so you can't, like, ManyChat will expire it and you can't, communicate with them anymore. You can go back in there yourself manually and start and communicate that way. So even though they may not interact with the bot at the moment, you can go back a couple of days later. Hey, I saw that you started asking for my lead magnet. Were you still interested? But it allows you to come back, and now you yourself create those human connections to kind of keep people back engaged and pull more people into your funnel.
Yeah, they have like you go into ManyChat and it's a best way to put it. What is the word for it? It's a inbox, I guess, and you can actually talk to people in that inbox.
Jay, it's great to see you here in person. You're such a superstar here for this group. I wanted to follow up on this topic because that was actually my question. This 24-hour or maybe 48-hour window. And I think there may be a distinction between the personal pages or the personal profile, your Facebook profile, and then the business pages. And I think the business pages have stricter rules on the 24-hour window. So my question is, what are you doing in your workflows to move people off the platform? Like, let's just say somebody sends you a message on IG, you have the 24-hour window, and it just sort of goes past 24 hours. You say, oh, I wish I had their cell phone number so I could text them, or I
Yeah.
wish I had their email so I could text them, or maybe there's something else. So how are you actually moving them off the platform?
So there's several
Because I know
ways
they
that
don't
do
want
that.
people moving off the platform,
They
but that's
don't.
what you have to do.
Yeah. Now, I want to make
Yeah.
that really clear is that the bots can only be on business pages. So if you have a business page, it can only be on business pages. It cannot be on personal pages. And that's something that, ManyChat has with Meta as a Meta partner. So I can't put that on my actual personal page, but I can have a personal business page, and that's a way around it. And then how do I move them off the platform? Well, specifically, one is I always ask for their email. That's like the most important thing. As soon as I get their email inside the bot automatically sends it to MailerLite. MailerLite now starts a workflow of a welcome sequence. So I'm already welcoming that person into my ecosphere. I'm telling them more about me, of who I am. I'm thanking them for, being part of my inner circle. So I'm continuing to have those conversations through email. And then there's several different ways, because if I add specifically like maybe an ad to it, or depending on what
I really want to talk about ads here in a minute.
yeah, depending what I'm doing, there's always a way for me to follow up. So either I add another workflow by sending it somewhere else, like to MailerLite, or sending it to a CRM. But there's always a way for me to go back in there and continue that conversation. And that's one of my favorite things in ManyChat, is that you can actually continue to have those conversations with them. And we're like, well, here, book a call with me. And so that's another way for me to pull them out and actually get them on the phone, get them face to face, because we all know that the fastest path to cash is face to face conversations.
It truly is. Yeah.
Just another follow up. There's another emerging chat platform called Google Business Messenger. And I'm curious if that is integrating into ManyChat as well, because I don't think they have on that platform these 24 or 48-hour windows. So theoretically, maybe you could move them onto that one as another option rather than email, because some people hesitate to give emails now.
Yes. And then a lot of people do give bogus emails. And so, that's
Truth.
another thing.
Truth.
I have not played with that or really gotten into the new Google Business Messenger, but I'm pretty sure we can find a way to integrate both, where you can pull that information into Google Business Messenger, either through a app, some kind of workflow, or some kind of integration. And then you can have those conversations. If you capture phone numbers, you can have SMS on ManyChat as well. So that's why it's very important to capture email, phone number, everything, because ManyChat gives you so many other options. So I
think that people respond on the SMSs quite well compared to the emails.
For SMS, though, you're going to have another third-party tool like Twilio. Twilio is the third-party tool for like SMS, and most apps out there require you, if they say we will do SMS, you also will have to have Twilio. It's TWILIO. And I think that's right. Yeah. Twilio. And that one is where you pay a little bit of money. Like I'm going to pay for a group of like 1,000 times to send SMS, so you buy them like in little packages.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I think you can do a monthly thing, or you could just buy them as you need them.
Yeah.
So that's actually really helpful too. But I think all these integrations get a little scary. And I agree with you. Like, how many apps are we going to have to get this strung together?
But I think that's one of the things that I love about ManyChat, is that they're really trying to make sure that your experience with ManyChat is the most robust, that you don't have to like add so many things. It's like when I was sharing the system thing with you, like you don't have to integrate all these other things. Like this is like the funnel that does everything. And so I love finding apps that do it all, because the last thing you want to do as a solopreneur is try to connect all of your stuff together, and then things break and they don't, the information doesn't flow correctly. Or you do it wrong.
Believe me, as you saw, there was an email that went out like, where did that come from? Like, it's in this flow somewhere. Like, how did that get there? I know. No, it isn't. It was just like, it was one of their templates. It's like a template email that was just sitting in that flow. And it's like, what the heck did this come from? Like, it's weird.
From outer
so
space.
I agree that it can be a little frustrating and scary, but here's the thing. It's it's better to go ahead and start making these. Even if you make a mistake, it can be fixed.
Mhm.
These things can be fixed, and then you have something that is an asset to your business.
It's skill building too. You have
Yeah.
to get that.
Yeah.
You do. And
mean,
of course, there's always Jay.
yeah.
She'll help you out
I can
too.
tell you, I was scared of
Designer.
chatbots when I
Yeah.
first, came to them, and now I'm like, oh my goodness, like I could just whip up a flow so fast. You had a question, Rachel?
Yes. No, go for it. Yeah, bring the mic to her. Do you mind? I don't know if I can get you. You're gonna have to come up a little.
Just
the
a little.
cord is so long. Sorry.
Yes, my question is, and I'm a former ManyChat customer. I used ManyChat maybe a couple of years, and yeah, I kind of got frustrated with the whole 24-hour thing, and when that came out, and I was also using texting and
Yes.
mobile marketing,
Yeah.
and so I just started using that more because it's like, well, I don't have any limitations
Mhm.
over there.
Yeah.
But I did like ManyChat, and I've gotten excited more recently when they're offering it over on Instagram.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I use Instagram more. So
That's huge. That's a huge.
It's-
I wanted to know, as someone who has used both,
Yeah.
because I'm on Instagram more than Facebook, do you see a difference between the responses and, I mean, leads, business,
I
etc.
can tell you that
on Instagram versus Facebook?
I was just like you. When I first started with bots, like I told you before, I was very scared of them. I was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want to learn this. I'll just keep it in the back of my pulse. I signed up for ManyChat. I think it was way too overwhelming. And at that time, it was clunky several years ago. And it
Yeah.
wasn't until I think 2020 that they added the keyword, the DM automation on Instagram, that I had already started kind of getting back into chatbots. And once they had that, and I attended that conference, I was sold. I was like, I'm going to do this for Instagram. And I can tell you that my leads primarily come from using automation on Instagram. So whether it's me creating a reel that says, DM me the keyword, and I
Yeah, the
point,
keyword thing is huge.
and it immediately, I mean, I'm always having my watch firing off, because you never know, like people are always DMing me specific keywords and firing off automations. I can tell you that it has increased the connection rate of someone who is trying to inquire about a quote, or who's interested in, are you interested in done for you services through my agency, or are you interested in coaching? And so I have a flow that goes both ways. And so I've gotten a lot more leads through Instagram than obviously than on my Facebook. But it was because I went all in on the Instagram automation when they came out in 2022.
Yeah, and it has come such a long way, because I also have a ManyChat account from
2020.
Back in the day. So
Yeah.
I mean, I need to set these things up too. That's why I brought Jam. Like, I got to do this. I mean, obviously for social media breakfast, it would be just a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing that.
And
So,
I primarily build things for Instagram first.
yeah.
And then I build all the flows for Instagram first. And then all you do is you go back in there, and then you just duplicate to channel, and it'll duplicate to Facebook. And so now you don't even have to actually even write a new flow for Facebook. You just hit duplicate to channel. It'll immediately put it into Facebook.
Yeah. And the flows, let's talk. I mean, since we don't have a visual right here, can you talk about what a flow looks like and kind of explain like how it works?
So it's mostly like a conversation like we're having now. See, so you're asking me a question, then I'm replying. You're going to ask me another question, and I reply. And so that's really honestly what a flow looks like. And I know workflows sound so intimidating, but it's honestly, think about it from that perspective. If someone asked me a question, what would I respond? What would I respond myself? Like, how would I sound responding? And then also, if I'm asking a question to somebody, how would I ask that question and it sounds just like me? So when you're creating your workflows, one of my favorite things to do is to literally just open up a Google Doc and, write the question. And then when I write the question, I think about what would that person answer, or can I give them options to speed up the process? And so I create option 1, option 2, option 3. And so they can click on whatever button, and it says, hey, I'm interested in this, or I'm ready for more. I'm ready for, I don't know if that's a cuss word, but there's a button on my flow that says I'm ready for next level SHI,
Yeah, yeah.
and so
Stuff.
yeah, for stuff, I'm ready for next level stuff. And so people can click on that, and it's true. Like if I'm a seasoned I'm a seasoned entrepreneur, I'm ready for next level stuff, and you can click on that. So it's how would you sound, in day-to-day colloquial speaking, and that's how you would structure your workflow.
Also, it shows your personality, which I think is really good, because if it's turning people off, then that's fine, because they aren't your people.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So I mean, I don't think it's bad necessarily to turn
That's
people off.
my only bad
sometimes.
word.
That's okay.
It's my only one.
To help with these workflows in ManyChat, or are there any templates or
Yes.
recipes
First.
already in that you can just sort of like
Yes.
load that and then just modify?
Yes,
So
so-
it helps you out in the beginning.
Lots of recipes. I love that ManyChat already gives you a keyword workflow. They give you several tools, several workflows. If you're a restaurant, they have a template for you already inside the platform. So even if you're new and you're kind of like, I don't want to do this, it's okay. They have templates for you. If you DM me the word SMBHOU,
Which is our hashtag, by the way.
Yes.
So if you are posting today, please take out your camera, post, talk, say you got to go to this thing. But it's SMBHOU.
yeah, all you have to do is
That'd be
type SMBHOU and send me a direct message at the J Franco on Instagram, and you'll get one of my workflows. And it literally has everything, even a template for your email that you respond to. Send an email afterwards, say, hey, here's what you asked me for. So if you get that, you'll get also a download, a PDF download that talks a little bit more in detail about what a chatbot does, why you need it, and it gives you the workflow as well. You can actually see the visual of the workflow when you receive that in your inbox. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're not doing
Templates.
that, if her watch is not buzzing right now off of her wrist,
Yeah.
I'm really sad.
I'm
about
kind of
what's
worried
going on
about it
out
too,
there.
yeah.
And I think Tori, you've probably given her yeah. So in the chat out there, just look in the comments. Her actual Instagram handle is in there, so you can find it very quickly.
Yes.
So yeah. Any other questions for Jay? Online? Is anybody asking anything? So yeah, it's been amazing. So I want to just talk about ads. Can we move to ads?
I love ads.
Okay, because one of the things I think that is so powerful about ManyChat, and I want to set this up probably this week.
Yes.
So I'm definitely I've got this. I'm about to run some ads. So can you tell me how you can use ManyChat with ads on Meta?
Yes. Oh, it's like one of my favorite things. Because I mean,
know.
like I told you guys before, like I'm all about the building marketing engines for my client. And so we use organic, and then we pair it with a bot. And so now it's, you've got that going both ways. And then you get your client to where they need to be, and then they add Facebook ads, and so then you also integrate that like with your ManyChat bot. And I mean, I just love it because there's these ads that we run for clients where it's just a basic text ad. It's just literally like a regular Instagram size post that says, are you a blank blank struggling with the pain point? DM me the keyword blank to whatever transformation or whatever you're offering, and we run ads to that specific post. We'll do a couple of different graphics with different colors just to see which colors and font pairing work the best for A/B testing. And so we're running these ads for these clients, and people are immediately DMing them in the Facebook Messenger the keyword, and the workflow goes. And so one of my favorite things is that the workflow gets automated, it gets captured, the lead gets captured, but because you've already had that conversation with them, you go back and you start, hey, I just wanted to follow up, and you got this from me. Do you have any questions for me? And so you start having those conversations. And as I said before, the fastest path to cash is conversations. You have those conversations, which lead to, well, you know what? Let me go ahead and book a call because I need to find someone to do this for me. Can you do this for me? Do you do this for people? And I'm like, yes. And so the conversion rate is much higher when you run ads this way versus a traditional ad that goes to a landing page. And then the landing page tells you all this long copy story and all that stuff. Mind you, I love funnels and I love landing pages and I'm really good at that too. But the point is, by the time that they grow, how many of you guys here, show of hands, have ever seen an ad? You go because it tells you to, sign up or download the checklist. And by the time that you get to that landing page, you're doing this just to get to the CTA.
Oh, I do it all the time. Run.
I'm like, oh my goodness, like 5 minutes later, and I'm still scrolling to find the, click here to get it.
Gosh.
Yeah. And so I mean, you need stop creating so much friction between you and your leads.
Yes.
You want to make the cold leads go into warm leads and get them to become your prospect now. So stop creating the friction.
Put the button at the top of the page.
Put it several times.
And then if you need more copy, then the ones that need more can go down
Yeah.
through it. It's not that it's not good. I think
Yeah.
that those
There's
things
a
are
way
important.
there's a way. Like, people sometimes they read and they immediately get it at the first call to action. Then you read a little bit more and there's another button because now they need to kind of find out, okay, are you credible? Who are you? Oh, so you're legit. Okay, call to action, push the button. And so at every section, it caters to the different way buyers buy.
Mhm.
And so that's what makes sales pages very effective. But what makes the chatbot more effective is that you're having like a real conversation with someone. When was the last time that your girlfriend's like, hey, you want to go to lunch? Yeah, where? This place. Okay. What should I wear? Come however you're dressed. Okay, perfect. Do I need to bring anything? No. Okay. So, and you're getting them to move faster and you're like, okay, I'll be there. And then you're like, I'm buying. Girl, I'm there.
What if you had to do a sales page for dinners with your friends?
Imagine that conversation. It's like, oh, okay, so girl, where are we going? Well, I woke up this morning and I really didn't know whether I should choose Mexican or Italian, but I was watching a documentary. I mean, you're like, okay, I'm done. You lost me there.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, I ain't got time for you. And so you move on. And that's why I think I love pairing chatbots with ads because it just really fuels things faster.
It's so great. And I agree. I mean, even if you have to send them to a landing page right now, because you might have to do that, you could do that. And I love the tips that you just gave. I just did a workshop this week. It's over now, guys, but it's called getinstantauthority.com.
Yes.
And
yes.
if you go to the Get Instant Authority page, you'll see like that. And by the way, I made that page on Canva.
Yeah, she showed me.
Canva
I was like,
now does websites. Unbelievable. But anyway, so if you go there, you'll see a getinstantauthority.com. You'll see that I have a little tag, and you just click on them and it takes you to the bottom. Click on it. So each time that there's a little piece of copy, I have a way for them to take action. Each time.
Mhm.
So if you want to see it as an example, it's getinstantauthority.com. It'll be there. I have to replace the form with something that says, for the next time. I'll do that probably this afternoon. But in the end of the day, I think that's really helpful. What you're just saying is having places for them to, because I am a scroll to the bottom.
Yes.
Oh, and another little tip about that, the PS of your emails.
Oh yeah.
So you can put like all of the sales information for an email in the PS and say, for those of you who love to scroll to the bottom, here's all the information. I do it all the time.
I have it up. I have my I think PS is like the best thing that converts on emails because typically we're starting to get used to just scrolling all the way to the bottom to get to whatever the call to action is. Like, what do you want me to do? Oh, okay. So I give them the 3 options. If you're ready to book a call, here's this. If you want to get, this, here's the link for this. And if you want to get this, here's this. So I give them 3 options based on like the buyer journey, based on like, okay, is my lead coming in a startup? Is my lead coming in a business owner who's been, around a while and kind of wants to get things, a little, faster scaled? Or is it a seasoned business owner who's ready for like next level stuff? And so I cater the options for those 3 types of, audiences.
That's awesome. Yeah, and understanding your customer. Very important.
Very important.
So for the ads that you're talking about, then are these Facebook lead ads or are these Facebook
let's
like
get into the
messenger
details.
ads? I mean, like what kind of ads are they? Because there's so many choices now
Yes.
when you try to set up your ad.
So they're definitely messenger ads, but there's 2 ways around it. So there's just like the ad, like a lead ad. and then a messenger ad. So it depends on what your outcome is. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to go directly to the messenger? I give them the copy and it says keyword this, and it shoots them right into the messenger. Again, trying to keep them from, okay, do I want a messenger or not? So go straight for message ads.
So you don't get the lead information directly from Facebook, like it won't pre-populate with their name.
I don't do
and stuff
instant
like that.
leads like that and then send, because then what was the point of me adding a chat bot that I want them to come in and start talking to me if I do an instant lead form?
But you can't do that.
You can. However, the fastest way to get them into that is create the message ad and have them go directly to Messenger to send you a message, but they already know what they're going to tell you. They already know that they have to DM you the keyword, and that's what makes those types of ads so much like better. And not only that, but the engagement is faster. You need about 50 interactions for you to get out of learning phase. It's so much faster with it because you're telling them, click here, it goes to message, and you've already told them what to message you.
So they would still have to type in once they got to the messenger.
Just-
it wouldn't pre-populate in messenger from the ad.
Yeah, just have them just put the word in and it'll start the flow. Yeah.
So that is a little bit of a friction, no doubt, but not bad. 'cause
No,
they're
it's not
putting
bad.
it in it.
not terrible, but
No.
because you're paying, it would do that.
Yeah, but they
Pretty
work.
nice.
They work better because you add the bot to it. Because sometimes people do message ads and they're running that, and it'll populate your stuff, but it gets a little like they lose attention.
Yeah, they're not.
It's not like
It's not
Bad.
instant. I'm telling you,
Cool.
bots.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I've got one. Do I need to go to the mic?
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
nice so that the people can hear you.
Come on,
in the-
Brian.
In the audience, so the ones that are listening online. Hi, guys. Make sure you ask questions out there if you have any. Hey.
Yeah. So sorry, this is I guess it kind of connects to my earlier question. So if we haven't done much of it, then it may not be something you know much about, but it just sounds like the chatbot's a great opportunity to learn about what your customer wants
Yes.
via the flows.
Yes.
And then you can deploy that using you can create a personalization strategy for your
Yes.
website
Correct.
using that. So I don't know if you've done that, but I was listening to you talk about, the really long pages with sales copy and this and that, which is great for like a cold lead. Someone came off Google,
Mhm.
as a relevant search result. But if someone's already engaged you via chat, obviously they know your brand, so they're a warm lead. So you might give them a different experience
Yes.
based on that inbound marketing
Yes.
strategy. So do you have any experience using what you learn about the customer from the chatbot in order to differentiate what their experience is either on your website or further through their purchase funnel?
I know that on my website, the bot that's on my website, specifically the flow, is to get them to have a conversation with me now, like book your call right now. And because if they're coming to my website, they're ready to buy. So they're ready to talk to me. They've probably scoped out my stuff. They've probably interacted with a chatbot at one point, depending on the channel. They've watched me on YouTube or they watch me here and they go to the site. And so, yes, like I have specific flows that are catered specifically to someone that's already inbound lead, hot, ready, they want to call. And I experienced that 2 weeks ago with a client from an organic post that DM'd me that ended up going to the website. And then from the website, I automated a flow, and it gave them specifically their appointment. And it also sent flows to ask them questions like, okay, what is your budget? What are you looking to do? What are the biggest challenges in marketing in your business at the moment? And so when we receive that information, I come into the call ready. I mean, yes, as marketers, you come in ready to call for the kill, right? You're like, let's go. And you get that information, like, okay, well, I know that this person selected 500 to 1,000. I may not go, full out guns and but there's times where they select that specific thing and they end up being a $10,000 client. And you're like, oh, well, why didn't they select that in the first place? But you have an idea already when you show up for those calls, like what they want, what are they needing? And it gives you time to prepare as a provider, like what kind of options, strategies can you already populate in your head before you have a further, deeper conversation with them? And then it helps you piece the dots in your head and put them all together and say, okay, this is the strategy I'm going to go with.
So the business way of saying qualifying your customer,
Yeah.
it qualifies them. Because that's one of the questions I have too is, do you get any there's a lot of salespeople trying to go through these bots and things. So do you get a lot of people trying to sell you something through the bots?
I haven't. You know what I do get a lot on my website. When in my contact page, I get that, but on my bots, I don't. I don't get that.
Yeah, I do get it on my contact page and not my bot
Yeah.
too. So my bot on my website it's actually fabulous.
Yeah.
It does qualify people.
Yeah. So, and I know a lot of people are having that issue that people land on your website, they submit the information into the contact form, and it's someone selling them, do you want more leads? Hey, we can do email marketing.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want this? Do you want that? And I'm like, no, bro, did you not notice I'm a marketing agency? Come on.
Hello. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of those lately too, like the emails that I know they downloaded their LinkedIn contacts
Yes.
or something. And then they use that, which is, by the way, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
But they're using those emails, sending you an email saying, hey, we'll help you find clients for your agency. And I'm like, not if you approach them that way.
Yeah.
You lose. No, we're not doing that.
Yeah. If they email me directly, direct email without going on my contact form, I email them back this long thing that I have that says, hi, did you know that you're in violation of the CAN-SPAM Act? These are the things that are wrong with your email, and I'm reporting you, and blah, blah, blah. So I love doing that.
Wow.
That's why we're friends.
She has a workflow for spam.
For everything.
It's
Yes, violation of GDPR, CAN-SPAM Act. I mean, yeah. I've gone on rants on my Facebook business page about business etiquette. You don't send people. That's another thing you don't do. When you're in networking rooms and someone gives you their business card and you add them to your mailing list, I'm like, they didn't give you permission to do that. They gave you permission to call them and book a one-on-one. They didn't give you permission to add them to your subscriber list. So that's a big no-no. And so I went on a big, huge rant about it on Facebook.
well, that's okay. I mean,
you can call them.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
You can.
Yes, you can exactly ask them.
I will tell you that when I do go to and I speak, so this is another thing, I will often bring a little postcard that says, do you want to be on my list and what are you interested in? And they will write on it. And I know that sounds very old school, but you can convert almost 100% of the room with those. And then you do have to enter them in, but then you get permission from
having written
you've
permission.
asked them this, do you want this information? And they're like, oh yeah.
I just use a bot.
I know you use
SMB, HOU.
Yeah, I get it.
DM me on Instagram. You'll get it.
Yeah, and I did that too for a while, but that's amazing. So I think we're kind of getting to the end of our time. Is there anything out there? Nothing?
They just wanted to know if there's any chatbots that are as charming as you.
Oh, Gabe.
If you write it, it'll be just as charming as Cammie.
Gabe asks, is the chatbot as charming as you are? And the answer is yes, because it's in her voice.
Yes,
It's in her voice.
Yeah.
She's amazing, and you should get to know her. So I'll introduce you. Awesome. So thank you guys so much. Is there anybody else? Last call.
Really
Yeah.
quick
Yes,
question.
love.
Sure.
With the chatbot, does it have a feature where you put a photo? I see that.
A feature for a photo in the chatbot.
so that it appears.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can add images to your flow. So depending on the question, you
What
can
type
add
of GIFs?
you can add GIFs, you can add video, you can add images. So in the flow, if you ask a question, hey, would you like, even just on the initial message, hi, thanks so much for reaching out to me. You can add a picture of you so that they already have that, oh, that's who she is, right? Especially if they looked at you on your Facebook and then now they're DMing you and it just reminds them of who you are. And then maybe they emailed you, they DM'd you the word whatever it was, and a picture of that specific lead magnet is in there also. So they reminds them again that they're getting that specific thing that they came for. So through the flow, you can add several things. it's very functional. It's very robust. You can pretty much do like everything you want in there.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
great. I wish
If
it was
not,
on
I'll figure
more
it out.
platforms. That's all I really wish. I wish it was on all the platforms.
I wish it was.
But yeah, I did find something on AppSumo, and I don't know the name of it off the top of my head because you were asking earlier, that does WhatsApp, SMS. It does like a bunch of different.
Landbot?
Maybe.
There's one on AppSumo right now that is running, and then there was Landbot
Yes.
too a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
and I almost
Maybe.
bought it too, but I was like,
You already have your thing. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the other thing. You can buy lots of tools, which I do,
Yes.
unfortunately. But you can't, it can be complicated. You know what I'm saying? But I will look that up for you.
Get a good one from the
I
start.
was trying to see it on here, but
Get a good one from the start. Get an all-in-one from the start. Whenever you're looking
Mm-hmm.
for apps for your business, especially marketing apps for your business, try to get, even if you may have to pay, try to get that app that has everything you need, all integrated. You don't need to integrate things to it. You don't need to create zaps and flows outside and have it talking to everything else. Try to get an all-in-one solution, because as a solopreneur, you have to do everything yourself. You have to set it up yourself. So if you're setting up that, and then you're setting up the Zap, and then the Zap connects to your email, and your email connects to your funnel, and it's too much. If something breaks, you're going to have to go and figure out what broke. And so, yeah.
it takes, and it's a mess when it breaks. But
Yeah.
anyway, so I think ManyChat, that's why we're recommending it in this
Yes.
live stream, because we feel like that particular, and I do too, feel like that particular chatbot
It's very robust.
is robust. It'll do the things you want it to do. And hey, if you want to like go off script after you learn how to use a ManyChat and go somewhere else, great.
Yeah.
It's going to teach you though
Mhm.
what you need to know.
Yes.
And when you do see other things, it's going to make it easier for you to do those things. So yeah, thank you so much, Jay, for being here today.
This
Give
is
her
so
a hand,
exciting. Thank you, everyone.
Next month, we're going to be talking about Web3. I know this is all very
Mhm.
difficult.
I can't
But
wait.
we'll be talking about Web3. There is some really great online spaces. We're even going to take a walk through Spatial right here in this space. You'll be able to see it here. I can pull it up on my phone and we'll figure that out. That's something we're going to have to figure out. But we can actually, there's some really other spaces. And those of you who are out in the audience can also join in. And also everybody here, you can pull out your phone and I can teach you how to be in Spatial. So I'll be sending some information out ahead of that. But yeah, it's a really cool, like you can go and hang out. It's the metaverse.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we're going to
Welcome.
do some metaverse stuff next time. Actually, I'm
Mhm.
speaking in the metaverse in a couple of weeks for a conference. So I'm learning it, So I will be ready for teaching you guys how to do it. But why that's important is because, again, we're having very widespread relationships. I mean, here's Nick sitting here, from overseas, and that's really normal these
Yeah.
days. It's just totally normal.
It's a global world, Cammie.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a global world, and the people listening today, I don't know where you're from. Definitely put in the chat where you're from, because I'd love to see it later. But I bet you a lot of people watching today aren't even from, they're not from Houston for sure.
From Bangkok.
So-
They joined today. I don't know if they joined.
Yeah. So friends from Bangkok and all these places. And so I feel like that, understanding these things, and again, even if you don't implement them in your business right away, understanding them is going to make you be an influencer.
Yeah.
And that's really what I want to make sure that we're doing here. I want our group to be an influencing group. All of you, I want you all to be influencers in what you do. And you already are. So how can we enhance that? So here we are. So I invite you back. In 2 months in December, we're doing the Gift of Guidance
Yes.
program. And we have until Monday for nonprofits
Mhm.
here in Houston. You have to be Houston based for that to apply to be our featured nonprofit. We will help you with your social media strategy.
Yeah.
And we all come together, even if you don't feel like you're a strategist. We have a table leader at each table with the nonprofits, and then we come around them. We're going to do that on the 11th floor here in December, and we help them with their social media strategy. And I'm going to say that people learn a lot. You've done this, right?
I did it last year when
Tell
you
me how
invited
it
me.
went, yeah.
I loved it. And I think it was so neat because nonprofits kind of get kicked to the curb, right? They can't have these huge budgets to hire strategists. And the fact that us as marketing strategists in the community, myself and you and several others in our community, we're able to give back and we're able to come in as their marketing
Consultants.
director for the day and help them build a strategy and then follow up with them throughout the year and say, hey, how was that? That we planned, I saw that you did an event. How did it go? And it was so good because it's a great experience to give back as a marketer on a totally different level.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then if you're not a marketer, you learn a ton by just being at
Yes.
the table, and all of the lived experiences of the people that are around the table
Mhm.
also help a lot
Yeah.
because you've done other things and you'll hear and people, and it's a really cool experience.
Can I give you a testimonial?
Yes.
On the mic.
I went to this. I think it was a couple years ago when it was over at the Houston Chronicle. We
Yes,
had it,
yes.
and I was at a table for the Montrose Center, and it was a very interesting day to sit at the table and also to meet so many great people from Houston that were contributing. But I think the really biggest takeaway for me was to see how that center's social media improved so much over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I think it has also positively affected
Yes.
their fundraising and donations to
Wow,
the
great.
center
Yeah.
too.
And
That's awesome.
at this point, we've been doing it for about, I think it's 10 or 11 years. So we've helped
Yeah.
over 100 nonprofits with their social media strategies. So I'm really this is one of my joys,
Yes.
and people that come buzz for
Yeah.
days afterwards. It's just very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my favorite
her
too. I was like,
yeah.
I hope I get to speak again. Just
So I
saying.
do hope you guys will join as participants, but also if you're a nonprofit or know a nonprofit that would benefit from this, send them to smbhou.com, smbhou.com, and they can, if you just scroll down just a tiny bit, you can actually apply right there.
Yeah. And we have an after party.
Yep. I don't know. We did it last year.
It was great.
I don't know. We might. We'll see. We got to see how it goes.
I missed it.
Yeah, we're going to do, it depends. I need a sponsor. So if anybody wants to sponsor an after party, come talk to me. So talk to Keel. Keel's our sponsorship guy here. So if you want to help sponsor it, we are looking for help with breakfast, just breakfast and coffee, because people are going to be in the room upstairs and I don't want them to feel like they have to go downstairs.
Oh, it's live this year.
It's here.
That's amazing.
It's here. So we're going to be live in a room. It is like a buzzy.
That's
put
cool.
it on your calendar. It's I think December 9th. Is that right?
Houston's hot.
December 9th at 9 a.m. Or I think we start at 9 a.m. just like this. It's a little bit longer. We'll go until about 11 because it just takes a while to get through the whole process. But it is one of the best things that we do all year. And then in January, I can't believe I'm talking about January already. We're going to actually have another in-person meeting where we're just going to do a networking kind of meeting. So it's not going to be a live stream. So you got to put January on the schedule because we're going to come in and show up. Because I want you guys to come to the space. If you're here in Houston, I want you in the space so you can see how amazing it is. It's just full of energy to be here. So come, and we're excited to have you there. And that's it. So thank you guys very much. We'll be jumping off, and we'll stay in this space right here for those who are here because they're going to continue with the tech. We're going to continue with the tech workshop in here. How does that go here?
There's a break and then
a break. What time do we come back?
10:30.
10:30. So come back here at 10:30. There's restrooms here. Bye, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye,
And we'll see you
everyone.
next month.